record now, so people can catch up with our recognitions. Our top cyclists were Narelle and Richard. Congrats, guys. Michelle and Brian, Tony Arnie, Ali Hilda, Lizzie Johnson up there again. Vanessa Tucker, congratulations again. Jessica and Adam, Billie Jean Wood, Dave McNamara, and Lainey Seddon. And we had great rank advancements from Deb Brown, congratulations, for manager. Kylie Wilson, consultant. Natalie King, consultant. Tony Arnie, consultant. And Rebecca O'Shaughnessy. The Little Mildura Sunraysia team, Narelle is on fire. And we had first-time cyclers of Tony Arnie. And we had first-time enroller of Zoe Matthews. So congratulations to everybody. Yay! Well done. Okie dokies. So tonight, Narelle and I had a little bit of a chat. And after we came away from last week's call, we thought that it would be really great for us to just come back to the basics of working our 30-second stories. And I put my thinking cap on and I thought, who would be an amazing person or amazing couple to bring on and really help us, you know, understand the importance of a 30-second story and really help us to refine it. But more so really understand, you know, what the beauty of the 30-second story is about. And now I had the pleasure of listening to Tom and seeing him present so greatly in Tassie. And, yeah, he just sprang to mind. So for those that don't know who Tom and Ash are, they have been in Isogenics for 3 years. And prior to that had a personal training studio and a commercial gym. And I actually think that we met the first time at David Wood in Sydney, and we're in line somewhere and we're talking about the whole fitness thing. Before they had also a stint in the corporate world. So they have a passion of adding value to others and offering a positive impact wherever they can. And the beautiful Tom and Ash have 2 gorgeous children, Miller and Maxie, and hopefully some of you have seen Ash's beautiful transformation that's been going on that that hopefully you've seen come through the Facebook world. So yeah, Ash, you're looking absolutely fantastic, by the way. So
thank you.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. You're like a mum. You're like a mummy idol, man. Like your transformation. So yeah.
Aww.
Oh, am I making you blush?
Yeah. Thank you.
That's okay. So I hope everybody has a pen and paper ready, and if there's anything that comes up to you as these guys go through and they help us with the importance of the $1 million story or 30-second story, that you take some notes. And if you want to ask some questions, maybe we can type them in the chat or we can get to them at the end of their little presentation. So it's across to you guys.
Cool. Thanks very much for having us, everyone. So just to reiterate, Lisa, you'd just like us to start with that, start with the 30-second story, the importance of it and how they can utilise it to be effective?
Yeah, well, you can go a little bit more into your story if you like, and really kind of explain your background a little deeper and why you came to Isogenics. But yeah, really what I would love, I guess, for people to really deeply understand is that real curiosity, pitch, I guess, of the 30-second story. And then how then to build that further into relationship, which you spoke so greatly into in Tassie.
Sure. So guys, I guess, it's like anything, Isogenics really does give us those amazing tracks to run on. And I guess the greatest thing about the story is preceding that is just really making that genuine connection with people. So it's so very, and obviously I heard all the rank advancements and everything that you guys were getting. So obviously connecting really, really well with people, but it's just so very important that we remember the purpose of a 30-second story. And the purpose of that is to really be able to, work out what's in it for the other person. So we're really relating our story to that person to create intrigue. At the end of the day, a lot of the times people really only are interested in what we have to offer or what we do if it's going to serve a purpose or a need for those people. And, it's like if we'd met and put yourself in that position and we were chatting away, all of a sudden, if I had said something that spiked your interest, then you'd be more likely to take notice of what I was talking about. Whereas obviously if we're not speaking to the person's needs, so that's where the 30-second story can really, really come into it. So what we really want to do is take away the verbal vomit. We want to be able to be to the point. But let's just step back a little bit before we get to the 30-second story and make sure that we're creating the good connection, because it's all well and good to have a story. But if you don't know exactly enough detail about the person, if you haven't asked good questions and made a great connection, then you're not going to know how to taper that story to what they want. For instance sake, it's no point me talking to someone who wants an energy and performance result, talking to them about weight loss or healthy aging, or someone who's struggling to be able to pay their bills and who's struggling to be able to get by, to be able to turn around and talk to them about weight loss. All they might want to do is know, how can I turn around and impact people but also impact my family? So it's really, really important that we think, what's in it for that person? So before we even get to the 30-second story, and this might be something that's really basic for you guys, but I think it's important to be able to go back over, is the fact of really taking an interest in those people, really breaking it down, asking those questions, and always we bridge the gap. And I think at Super Saturday, I talked a little bit about the fact of, we're talking to people and it's really easy to say, hey, Lisa, how you going? Yeah, great to meet you. How's your day going? And then bridging that gap to say, would you like to be in my Isogenics business? Or would you like to be part of my team? It's a big disconnect between that. That's where we've got to really start to uncover, and we've got to really be those detectives and really find out, talk to people about, maybe their family, what they do in their occupation, what they do for recreation. You guys have all heard of that sort of the acronym form, but to really uncover that so that then we can taper a 30-second template to what that person wants. So have you guys utilised, so hands up for me who utilises a 30-second story and who utilises it in real life? You've utilised one yourself? So there's a hands up for me who haven't. Okay, so everyone does. Do you have more than one? Hands up for me if you've got more than one. Okay, cool. So what we really need to do is we really need to make sure that we do have more than one. And if we don't have one for ourselves, like I can't relate to a pregnant mum, but I can utilise Ash's story to be able to somewhat make that connection. So we can utilise the same 30-second template and taper that in and borrow someone's belief or borrow someone's story. So it's really, really important to be able to do that. Did you want to add anything in here, Bud?
I was just thinking about, when we first started and we didn't know about the 30-second story, and we were verbal vomiting all over everyone when we were meeting them. And because we were doing that as well, we didn't know what it was that was going to spike the interest of someone, because we hadn't taken the time to, we were still making great connections, but we were just so excited. And when I think back to the connections then, it was taking us a lot longer with our conversations to find out whether or not someone was interested. Whereas now, when you can tailor a 30-second story and really do the uncovering before you tell them that 30-second story, which is going to resonate with that particular person, the connection time and the time frame is a lot shorter, because we're getting to the point a lot quicker by utilising that 30-second story.
Awesome. So you guys, this is making sense. Did you guys have any questions at this point? All pretty good? Cool. So what I'm going to do is, hands up for me who has read How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. Have you guys ever read that or listened to the audio?
No.
Okay, so a couple of hands. Put your hands up for me who hasn't. Okay, cool. So it's a good one to write down. It's really easy to get into audio, and they're timeless principles. So it's how to win friends and influence people. And it's really about making the general connection with people. So I'm going to use, there's a section in there, and it basically just says how to get people to like you. Because as we know, it's not going to matter how great your story is. If people don't build that connection with you, they're probably not going to do anything with you, unless they're in a really hard spot and you're offering something that speaks to them. So I'm going to give you 6 points. And these are timeless points that really are principle based. So it doesn't matter if this was, in 100 years' time, these principles still will hold fast for you and you'll still be able to utilise them. So what we want to do is first and foremost be really interested in other people. That's your first one. So write them down if you want, or you can Google them within the book as well. But be really interested in other people, find out about them, ask questions and find out what their needs are. Now, we want to uncover more about these people. It's so important. The next one is smile. Sounds stupid, right? But imagine if you're sitting in an airport, that sort of thing, someone's looking at their shoes, they're down in the dumps, they're not feeling very good. How often do you go and say hello to those people? I'd pretty much say never. Or how often does someone come and talk to you when you're in a bad mood? It just doesn't happen. But if you smile with people, it's like that reciprocity. It's like what you put out, you get back. So if you smile at people and you say hello, even if people are in a bad mood, they go, oh, hi, how are you going, or whatever, or they might grunt or whatever, but you'll get some sort of rapport back. So we've got to make sure that we're smiling. We've got to make sure that we've got some excitement too in what we do. Because if we're not excited, we can never expect anyone else to be excited about what we're doing. They're basic things, but they're really important things to remember. And we always want to try and remember a person's name, because someone's name to them is so, so important. How do you guys feel, and I know it happens all the time, when you've met someone 3 or 4 times and they call you by the wrong name? You're like, oh yeah, well, you know, you often wonder whether they took much notice of the conversation you had in the first place. But a good example is if you can go through, even if I use it on the notepad of my phone. So if I meet someone and I think that they're a great person, I might just put it straight in the notepad of my phone and say, hey, Lisa, met her at the gym, trains 4 days a week, got a, you know, absolutely lovely lady, you know, and next time I'm in there, I know that if I have the problem of forgetting someone's name, I might even just look in my phone briefly because I want to be able to remember that person. I want them to feel important, and I know that that'll make them feel that way inclined. So that's a really, really good one as well. Next one, we've got 2 ears and 1 mouth, and you guys would have heard this all the time, but it's all about active listening. A lot of the time, we do so much talking, and hands up for me who can relate to this point, when you've been sitting in a conversation and you haven't really heard what someone said because you've been waiting to say what you want to say, and you can completely miss part of that conversation because you are hoping that you're going to get to say the thing. I've done it, I know that I have, and I know that other people do it as well. So it's really important to be a really good listener and allow others to talk about themselves, because people really want to be able to, you ask them about what they do and what they're passionate about, they'll tell you, and they'll walk away from that conversation and they'll think, wow, Lisa was amazing, you know, because all Lisa did was ask me a question and then allowed me to talk about myself all the time. And then maybe she slotted in a 30-second story as to what she did for a bit of excitement. And then I walked away going, what a great person. But all she really did was open up the communication between us. It's really important.
Yeah. No, keep going. You're doing well.
Okay. Now, what we want to do also is talk in terms of the other person's interest. So if they've got kids and you've got kids and everyone's excited to talk about their kids, well, allow them to do that. And don't turn around and let them talk a little bit, then all of a sudden go, oh, but my kids do this and my kids do that. You know, just relate with them. But the only way you're going to find out more about these people is ask the good questions and then listen, and then continue to flow on. And this will lead you into the best 30-second story that you can ever tell, because you'll be able to relate it to what's important to that person. Is this making sense? Mm-hmm. Just give me a nod if it is. Cool. Okay. And last one would be just making the person feel important and do it sincerely. So what we want to do is honest feedback is fantastic. Everyone wants to know that they matter. That's why Lisa would do recognition at the start, to recognise people for what they've done. That's why Isogenics does recognition on stage, to recognise people for what they've done. It's no different. All we want to do is we want to be able to take an interest in people and make them feel genuinely important as well. So there's 6 points, and they're so very important. And if you can, you know, I know that a lot of you guys are really busy and sometimes you don't get the opportunity to be able to read a book. And so what I'd do is I'd grab an audio if you can. Grab an audio of that one and just, you can click through, and the audios that you know are amazing, because what they do is they really allow you to be able to pick up things at different times. So it would be a really, really good one. Anything you'd like to add?
No, you covered it, everything.
Okay.
Good job.
Probably too much. Okay. So that leads you into your 30-second story. So really now we've found out about people. We've found out exactly parts of their life, what they do. We've asked them questions. And so now we can utilise our template. It's the same thing as when you smile at someone, you say, hey, awesome day. And they go, yep, great day, or whatever they might. It's that reciprocity. You do something and someone returns that. So if you talk to people about what they've been doing, and at some stage it's going to come in occupation. What do you do for work? And they're going to tell you, and then at some stage, even if they're not interested, just because you've asked so many questions, they're going to ask you, well, what do you do? And when you do that, that's your opportunity. And at the end of the day, a lot of the times, they probably don't care that much. Unless, of course, you've been listening really, really well and taken notice and taken a genuine interest in that person to build a great relationship. And then you taper your honest story to their needs. So that doesn't mean we're manipulating the situation, because as we know, Isagenix gives a phenomenal result in all aspects of health, energy performance, weight loss, weight management, healthy aging, plus wealth creation. Everyone fits into one of those categories. So that we know that if we're talking to these people, that we could easily taper our personal story or someone else's story to their need. You know, we're going to know that they're going to fall within one of those. And if you don't get something that's really strong, then just talk about what you're passionate about that you think relates closely enough to what they do. If they've got kids, then talk to them about what Isagenix has briefly done, or for your family, and what you do for work with a bit of passion, and utilise that template to be able to do that, which is really going to create that excitement. They're going to go, wow, you provide for your family doing that? Because it's always all of a sudden going to click for those people, and it's going to speak to them.
Yeah, and saying that with, passion and excitement, it gets people, they're intrigued straight away anyway. I mean, we've met a lot of people at different networking events, and they're network marketers as well, and you ask them what they do and they're not excited about it. And so you don't really even want to know much more about what they do, because there's no passion there. So even if someone's asking you what you do, and I've had it happen a lot, and you just sort of tell them with so much excitement, and we're so lucky that we are with such an amazing company that you can't help but get excited when you tell people about it. And then they want to ask more, they want to know more, because a lot of people don't like what they do. So we've always got to remember that and just always be so super excited, because I just think that helps a lot.
It does. And for an example, we've got people within our team that are fantastic, and not everyone does everything well. But I know that when someone talks to me, and if I talk to another, for an example, network marketer, and they tell me what they do, and they're really not sure, and or we're talking to them, or we're training any of our team, we'll just say, tell us what excites you. Because, guys, put your hand up if you've had some great health result, or a financial benefit, or you've impacted one of your family, or you've made a positive difference to the world in any particular way with Isagenix. Put your hand up for me. So every single person on the call has got something to be excited about, right? It's just that we've got to remember that excitement. We've got to remember what fires us up, and remember what difference that it's made for us. And that's your story.
Yeah, and a lot of it's just getting out of your own head too. I know, and I see it a lot getting posted up. Oh, what do people say when someone asks you what you do? And you can get so caught up in the right thing to say. And the thing is that there is no right thing to say. It's just, if you're excited about the results that you've had and the people's lives that you're changing, and it's hard not to be excited about that. And that's what people are drawn to. Like, they will want what we have, and they will want help in one of the particular ways. So it's just remembering why we're excited. It's a genuine thing. We just need to come from that place of heart and passion, and service. We know we can help more people with this. So we need to come from that place.
Yeah. So that's one of the key things for the story. And then you just bring it into the template. So we don't have to say to someone before isogenics, we can taper it just a little bit. But what the template does do is it allows every single person on this call, as soon as they go through their 30 days, to have a story that they can tell people. You know, so for an example, if their story is energy, well, all of a sudden they've got a story that they can turn around with excitement and tell people. All they've got to do is get used to the template and they can utilise that. If they're talking to someone and goes, oh, look, you know, I'm riding in the gym and I'm wanting to get great results, that sort of thing, and you can easily say, oh, look, I don't know whether it would be of interest to you, however, and then you can use Lisa's story and you can turn around and use the same template for the person that you know. I actually work with someone who, before they started utilising this system, they were in a similar sort of circumstance to you. They were training all the time. They were looking for great results. They were introduced about 2 years ago to this system. They've been utilising the product for that period of time. As a result, they absolutely smashed all their personal bests in the gym. They've got great results health-wise. I honestly believe that you should definitely have a chat to Lisa, see the benefits that she's got. She'll be able to let you know what you think, and you'll be able to decide whether you think it's a benefit for you. You can taper it to anyone, no matter what it is.
And it stops you from, like, you know, getting so excited and just going, oh, and then there's this person, and then she had this result, and then they did this, and then all of a sudden this person's so overwhelmed with so much information. Whereas if you just follow the template every single time you're telling a result or a story, it really stops you from that whole verbal vomit thing. Yeah, I find it really helps in every situation, and it just becomes second nature if you keep utilising it. And it does take practice, and also having a couple of stories of your own as well, just to sort of have, you know, quickly off the bat. And the more you practice it, the more comfortable it's going to feel, and it will just come, you know, so second nature.
So it's sort of like the 30-second story is so very important, but it's the before that sets the scene. So it's like the foundation for a house before you build the stories. It's like isogenics in the first 30 days that really sets you with the conversations you have beforehand. Then you start to move into great health, and then things get better. So we find out the questions, we utilise the template, and then we connect when people go, wow, really? I could get results like that. I've been training for 10 years. I didn't realise that you could get that greater results. Tell me a little bit more. And then you can utilise that excitement to be able to tap them into the next thing you want to do. So it doesn't matter where you are. What you want to do is you want to try and get a story for each thing so that you can quite easily turn it and role play between you. So have, you know, and no one really likes role playing. I know it's a bit awkward, but then again, so standing on a spot when someone asks you a question, you think, God, I'd love to work with this person, and you and ah and think about what you should say, and the person walks off, and they could have been the next person that you walked arm in arm with and made a massive difference in their life and others. So it's so important to be able to practice those things and just have it down pat, because if you're not confident and you don't come across like you're excited, I just can't see how someone else would want to be excited about what you're talking about. Cool. Is there anything else that you want me to cover on that 30-second story, Lisa?
No, I think that's really, like, it's really defined it. And I think I loved, Ash, that you put in there about there's a fine line with the excitement, isn't there? Like you do have to be excited to be able to share your passion, but then the excitement can go so overboard that all that chatter comes in, because you're just like, it's like Christmas morning and here's all this stuff, and you can get ice delights and greens and feel amazing, and then, you know, like that all takes over, and, you know, then the person's just like gone, whoa, you know, like, hang on a second, that's just like way too crazy for me. And you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, and
yeah.
You know, I think it's also really important that, you know, we do follow the template as, you know, into the points of the template, right? So we know, if we've seen the template, which I asked you guys to have a look at before, it's like before isogenics, you know, introduced by using the program, all those spots. But I liked how you said, you know, before this program, you know. So I know that some people have a problem with it sounding so scripted. But whereas we have to follow, it doesn't have to be scripted, but it just has to follow those step points so we don't forget those pieces and we don't run off the track into like the e-shots and ISA delights and ISA, blah, 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 and off we go into like ISA world. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. So what else is there any questions that you guys have got that you want to know? Did you want to go over anything else with it? Did you want to work into how you connect after that? Is there anything else you want us to touch on?
Is there anybody else that's got any questions on the templated side of it and or running through that? Anybody? I don't think anybody has. So no, definitely going into obviously the next step after that. So I really do love that tip as well. Thank you so much about the pre-conversation being most important, then obviously to tailor the 30-second story. And making sure that we understand the importance of actually sharing stories. If you don't have one, absolutely to share one. So flow into how we build the relationship after.
Cool. No worries. So what we're doing is, people if you look at all the really successful network marketers, all they want to do is they want to implement something. You've heard it all the time, something that duplicates, something that's going to be easy. So we can teach all our people, if they're interested in building the skills for that good conversation, getting themselves that 30-second story. So if someone goes, I don't have a story, well, after their first 30 days, they're going to have some sort of story to tell. Then all you've got to do is you've got to help them taper that. And that's your job, to be able to do a bit of role playing with them, to be able to help them out so they feel comfortable as well. So it's great to have you there for three-way calls and support, but to really allow them to be able to come into their own, to be comfortable, because they're going to be conversing with people every day. So that's an aspect. But once you do that, and all of a sudden people go, whatever it might be that you say, I might be utilising that gym scenario, someone's there and they go, oh, I'd love to find out more. That's where you need to then be able to make that connection point. And obviously in this, in this modern day era, it's probably really easy just to be able to say, hey, have you got Facebook or LinkedIn? And they'd say, yeah, sure. And then, don't just add onto theirs, grab their phone or something and say, oh, look, I'll find myself on here for you. Sometimes a bit hard to find. And if you've got that bit of that easy connection, you can find yourself there, bang, and then you've sent yourself a friend request, and then you know that they're in your network straight away. Either that or you can swap phone numbers, but Facebook is quite, Facebook or LinkedIn are pretty non-invasive, particularly this day and age. If you've got a better connection, then I would always say, hey, look, cool, let's hook up on Facebook as well, and I'll touch base. I'll send you some information through for you to be able to have a look at. But then when sometimes might say, oh, look, I'd love to be able to have a chat about it, and then you can just talk to them about what the best way to contact them is, what's the best number to get you on. So if you can get Facebook and you can get a number, that's awesome. But initially, if you get just Facebook, that's a great way to go. So what we want to do is we might want to just turn around and say, look, if I said to Lisa, for an example, cool, Lisa, we've been talking about energy performance. She said, yeah, really interested, love to find out more. You say, great, you're on Facebook. Yep, let's swap details. Hey, if I send you through a clip that's going to explain to you some of the stuff we've spoken about, would you get a chance to check it out? And it's just if I was to send you a clip that went for 10, 15, 5, whatever it might be, minutes, that's going to explain what we've spoken about and really show you how you can achieve your goals. So it's important that you put in what's in it for them, that they can achieve their goals. Always remember what's in it for the person, not what's in it for you, what's in it for them. So you're always adding value to people. And they go, yeah, I love to. Then you reconfirm the appointment and say to people, look, great, when do you think you get a chance to have a look at it? And they might say tonight, tomorrow night, whatever it might be. And that's a lot of the time when you can confirm the number and just say, look, I'd love to give you a buzz at that point in time. What's the best number to contact you on to see what you like best about it? All of a sudden, you've got their Facebook, you're sending them some information. You can also add them into your Facebook page if you want to, if the conversation goes that way, and you've got a connection point and a time to be able to contact them. And this is the sort of stuff that's in GoPro. It's really, really simple, but a lot of the time there's so much information in network marketing that we forget the simple stuff. And people say, look, you know, what am I supposed to be doing? You know, it's really, really simple. We find people to talk to. We talk to those people we find. We connect with the people like we are at the moment, and then we send them a tool. So what we want to do is we want to have something that every single person can do. So every single person can send out a tool that can confirm. If you're new in the business and you're new doing this and you don't know how to answer their questions, then that's a really good opportunity to bring in a secondary person and say, hey, look, Lisa got those great results. I've only been utilising the system for 30 days. But if I was to give you that buzz at 8 o'clock tomorrow night, I'd love to have Lisa on the phone as well so she could explain to you, because I'm sure that you'd have a lot of questions. I know I had questions when I started.
And that's a great entry for your three-way calls as well, because I know a lot of people find it awkward setting up a three-way call sometimes. But if you're doing it in that way and being really sort of honest about, I haven't had that exact same experiences, or, I haven't experienced those results myself. However, I do know someone, like Tom was saying, and I would love to connect to you guys. You have so much in common, and she would be able to answer a lot of the questions you'd have. And the great thing about Isagenix is the support that we have within our team as well, so that you can make sure you are getting, supported along the way with people that have had a similar experience to you. And it really brings in that it's an easy transition into a three-way call, with it not sounding like, hey, I'm going to do a three-way call, because I know a lot of people don't know how to bridge that, and so they stay away from them. But they're the best tool that you could possibly use with setting people up right from the start.
Great tip. I love that. I really like that entry point, because to be honest, still now I just have had, I really struggle with that way of being able to introduce somebody into a call or even to a thing. But it's just like, oh my gosh, you sound so much like my friend. You have so much in common. I would so love for you to speak to her. That's awesome.
And women especially love hearing that, because they feel like it's a real compliment that you are friends with someone that reminds them so much of your friend. So they automatically feel really, really good as well. And it's just, it's really natural, I feel. And a lot of people can use that technique without it being that awkward three-way call thing. And also the other thing I was going to say, but you moved on, was with the Facebook, connecting on Facebook. I always say I'm really hard to find on Facebook. So if I could please, do you have your phone? Everyone these days always has their phone attached to their hip. So it's just a matter of, I'd love to connect with you on Facebook. However, I'm a little hard to find. So do you have your Facebook? And I'll add my details and find myself. And that way you're sending the request from their phone so you can accept it. Whereas the other way around, sometimes you can send the request, and you might have, and Tom and I will come home and go, oh my God, we've just met this amazing person and we had this great conversation. I found out all about their life, and I sent them a friend request, and then it never got accepted. And you start wondering, oh, was it the conversation? Did I say too much? What? And it starts to sort of play with you, whereas I just use it all the time. Like, oh, you won't be able to find me on Facebook, so I'll find myself for you. And then that way you've got that connection and you can start your follow-ups.
Yeah. I think that's really good, and it gives, it also allows the person to be able to be plugged in at some point into the culture, into the page, so you can easily say, look, we've got a team support page. I realise the timing's not right for you if it wasn't, but how about I plug you into the page? You can have a bit of a look, see what the results that people are getting, and over time you can put them in the follow-up. Sometimes they'll come straight back to you before that point in time even comes. But of course, if we haven't done that, and like Ash said, if we go the other way around, we never get that point in connection, you never know. So for an example, I met a lady on the beach just with the kids a little while ago, and her husband had done Isagenix ages ago. She wasn't one bit interested. And then we just plugged them into our Facebook page, and I just looked to add value in another way and just said, look, I know you're into health and fitness, meal ideas and stuff on there, jump on there, have a little bit of a look, that sort of thing, even if it's got motivation for you to be able to help you out in the different sorts of exercise that you do, you're adding value then, that they are still seeing what's going on in your life. And then she came back and said, actually, I'm just not quite getting the results. I see all these great results on the page. I'd come to think of it, I didn't really give it a go beforehand. It was only my husband. I didn't do it. I'd really love to find out more about it. But if we never plugged her in, and it's all about, there's no hidden agenda there. It's like, how can I add value to that person? And if all they do is they get the meal ideas and they get the motivation, you're still adding value to that person. And that's what it's all about. You add value, add value, add value all the time. What goes around comes around, and great stuff will come back to you. It always does.
Yeah, that's a really, really awesome tip. I actually did the same thing. We do have our little support page, and I did exactly the same thing with the lady that I met the other day, standing in line for Justin Bieber tickets, which we didn't end up being able to get because they sold out in like 3 minutes. But it was the same thing, you know, in conversation, this lady ended up coming out that she'd been doing, I think it was Opti Slim for about 10 months. And she was enjoying her results through Opti Slim. And I said, you know what? Like, you would just really benefit from being in our support page anyway, just for the tips and the motivation. You know, come in and stay for as long as you want and take from it what you want. But yeah, you're welcome. So that's a really, really great tip. You know, never expecting any. Like, I think if we're to learn one thing from that piece, it's like never to actually, you know, put them in there with an expectation that anything would happen, other than that we add great value to their life.
Yeah.
Yep. Awesome. I think and it happens over and over and over again. I just wanted to touch just a little bit back on that three-way call, because I just missed an important point in there, and the fact of when we're looking at duplication, to be able to lead that person in there, if we can get that really good interaction, say someone's really, really new, you put yourself back when you're in your first 30 days, and some of you might still be, I don't know, but you know, if you are, and you can just say, hey, you connect to someone else because you know for well that they can answer the questions better than you. Well, that's something that someone can do on their very first day. They can easily say, look, I don't know, but these are the results that I've seen. I know that you've said you're really interested in getting this, this, and this, A, B, and C. I'd love to plug you into my friend so that she can tell you her great results, because I honestly have only just started using the system. And the secret is, and one of the very best people in the industry, Michael Klaus, so he's the #1 income earner, or between #1 and #2 in the company, he always says, whatever you do today, you should be able to do tomorrow with someone, whether they live across the street, across the town, or across the country. So if you think to yourself, can I do what I do tomorrow with someone new? And if you can't, then try and find a way that you can. So I realise with a 30-second story, that's not going to happen in a day. But what you can do is people can say, oh, look, this is the result that my friend Lisa got. I'd love you to have a chat to her because she could tell you a lot about it. I've just started. You don't even really have to have a 30-second story, but you can have a template for Lisa. Does that make sense, guys? I hope. Cool. Okay.
Cool. Yeah.
Questions. What questions would you have for us? Happy to be able to answer any while we're on here if we can, to the best of our ability anyway.
So what would you do if you would try and connect with the three-way call and you would say, you know, I would love to get, you know, that person on the line as well, and they say, no, I don't really want that. What would you encounter then with, what would you say to get that three-way call going?
Sometimes you can't. Sometimes people are just, all you can be is excited. All you can do is really take an interest in where they're at and try and meet them at their level. But if they don't want to do that, sometimes they're not going to, and you could always just say, look, I understand that sometimes people don't prefer not to be on, you know, connected on a call. Would you like me to just bang you in a three-way message, and you guys can message each other and maybe you can get a bit of information? They might be interested at that. Otherwise, you could just add them into the page and say, hey, look, jump on the page, have a little bit of a look. This will give you a bit of an insight into exactly the results that people are getting. Whatever their result was, say they wanted to improve their energy, look at a couple of testimonials on there. And if you decide that it's something you think might be for you, let's have a bit more of a chat, and then maybe I can plug you into Lisa at that point in time. So you've got a couple of different options, because not everyone, I don't think it matters how good you are. It doesn't matter. Not everyone's going to jump on a call. There's plenty of times I get people and they wouldn't want a bar of a connection call, and that's cool. You just got to have other options.
Okay. I thought that was very cool that you mentioned that you had, like, oh, I had a great conversation. I linked them to the Facebook page, and they never really added you as a friend. I had that. I had that on Friday. I was so excited, and I'm like, why hasn't he accepted my Facebook request yet? It's good to hear that you guys have that too, or have had that probably.
Yeah, we've that's honestly happened to us. It's like anything. The more conversations you have, you can have 1,000 conversations in 6 months, or you can have 1,000 conversations in 6 years. And it's happened to us stacks of times. I probably can't even remember the amount of times that it has, but it's just, you got to look, I guess, at all the positive change that you do make and all the great conversations you do have that lead into something else. But it's just so easy to be able to have your mind flowing and going, hang on a second, did I talk too much, or did I fit them, and that's just human nature. So you got to try and go back, and it's like what David Wood says, it's where you focus. If you've got a black dot on a piece of paper and you look at that black dot, that becomes your whole world. But if you step back from that and you look at other things, then that becomes your focus.
Yeah. That's a great tip to say, look, I'm hard to find. It's a great tip. I'll do that from now on.
Yeah. If you want to know anything about Facebook, you should ask Ash and not me, because she's much, I think it's the age thing. That's what I'm saying anyway, but she's much better at that than me, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I think the other great tip that we learned at Vegas Celebration was the scan message. Yeah, that was pretty cool, right? So if you don't know what I'm talking about, but you happen to have your phone in front of you, if you go to Messenger, you'll see across the bottom, right over the very right-hand side, it has the little me button, or the me thing down the bottom. So you press it, and then it should bring up something. Oh, you can't see, it's glary, but it looks like that.
Oh,
and it's like the scan function. So you can actually put that over, you get the other person's phone, and you go to the me section, and you scan the code, and that takes you straight to Facebook Messenger. And then you can actually just send them a message straight away. Like I just say, hey, really great to chat to you today. Looking forward to chatting to you again. So it already sets up a message that then you can like, even if they don't accept your friend request, you've opened up a message chat, and it will still just continually go to the others folder. But you still you actually have a kind of, I say, like a portal there open for a chat. But it's happened to me plenty of times with that message request type thing. So I've learned very quickly now to take a screenshot of the person's name of their actual thing. So when I've done it, I take a screenshot, and so obviously it stays on my camera roll, and then I know how to find them. So that's another little tip.
Yeah, awesome. Brilliant. So do you guys have anything else that you'd like us to go over? I mean, we're happy to be able to help out with whatever we can. We're mindful of your time as well, so please fire away if there's anything you want to know.
I just had a question about your follow-up structure. So, I know that everybody has different ways of, tracking their leads and, following up and all that type of stuff. So, I mean, and I think things will work, different things work for different people, but what works for you?
You answer this one, Ash, you're good at this.
Yeah, it was actually, we didn't really have a set structure in place. We just sort of gauge it off the person's interest and sort of diarise it for when we thought was appropriate. However, at the Vegas Celebration, I went to the breakout session for Laura Stevens, and she was talking about her follow-up structure, and I just thought it was really, really simple. So we've both been implementing that, and that's the 2, 2, and 2 rule. So it's that you follow up within 48 hours, so the 2 days within your first contact, and then after that, if you haven't heard anything, you leave it 2 weeks. And then you'll sort of touch base and go, I had you at the forefront of my mind, or something came up that reminded me of you. I just wanted to circle back and see, have you had a chance to watch that clip, or have you thought any more about getting started, or, And then if you still don't hear anything, because sometimes you'll send messages and you can see, especially on Facebook, that they've seen the message, and then, you know, you're just like, okay, so they've seen it, and now what? Like, how long do you wait? So then if that happens, we use it as like a 2 months, but if, say, a promotion comes up, like, you know, free membership, or this week we have the replenish, I'll just use that as a connection point, you know, like, oh, I've had you on, you know, whatever. Like, I know you showed interest such and such time ago, your results, you know, have you thought any more about getting, you know, losing that weight or getting that summer body? We've actually got an amazing promotion at the moment, and I thought of you straight away because I thought, what awesome value. You know, have you had any more thought about getting started, or did you want to catch up for coffee, or, you know? So I use that as my, if there's a promotion, that's when I go to my sort of 2-month list, and that's what we use as our follow-up structure.
Do you also have a follow-up structure if somebody said no? Is that for you guys like a no-no, or is that on a maybe pile and you catch up with them in a couple of months' time? Or
if someone said no, I don't then, you know, that's sort of like they've told you, no, I'm not interested, so don't sort of send me any more information, which is fine. But you can still, and I make a point of every day having my list and jumping on their Facebooks and then liking and commenting on a couple of their posts. And that way what you're doing is you're pouring love into them and showing them that you're still thinking about them, even though it's got nothing to do with Isagenix. But then when you're putting up a post, and say we make sure that we do at least one power post a week, there's a high chance with the way that Facebook works that they're going to see that post. And you just don't know with those people that have said no when something's going to change for that person and what's going to resonate with them. So I always make a point of just jumping on to people's Facebook randomly and just liking and commenting on other people's photos when it's just, people like that anyway. But what it does do is that whenever you post, you're going to show up in their news feed.
Done in a genuine way too. So, you know, you'd always make sure that everything's done in an authentic, genuine way. So we wouldn't just go randomly and go, oh, yeah, we'll get, there's 10 people will comment on their post. But, you know, you go, oh, that is a great picture of their family. They are great people, whatever it might be. So you look and make that genuine connection. And it's always important that you always add value from an authentic place, and always remember that whatever you do, if you're always adding that value like we were talking about before, it can, and then obviously it comes back up in your feed as well. But it's just like that never-ending circle of doing and treating people like you like to be treated that comes back around.
Yeah, and also if you've treated that no in a really positive way and you are still making those connections with those people and loving on them in a genuine way as well, especially online, you never know who they might know, and the first person they're going to think of if they have a friend that wants to lose weight or feel better and have more energy is going to be you, because they know that they're going to be treated well and they're going to be supported. And so it's always just making sure that you're being really genuine and loving and supporting, even if that is a no, because you just don't know where that's going to come back.
Yeah, that was Tracy O'Malley did, you know, her piece on social media at Vegas Celebration, and she says that she spends 30 minutes every day being what she calls a loving private investigator on Facebook. So she does, you know, what you say, and that's what I call that Facebook creeping with a love heart. So, you know, it's actually about liking on posts or commenting on posts and doing those types of things, but always in a genuine manner. So it is a little tip, absolutely. So it's you know, like it's what you guys say, it's to stay in the forefront so that when you do post something, you know, when it comes to that person's time to make a decision, when and if it comes to that person's time, that you're in the front of the mind. So yeah. Okay. That's a good tip.
Yeah, and I guess it just really reiterates that no, like and trust between people. whether you're building relationships face to face or whatever it might be. But a lot of the times, those magical people that come into our businesses and, you know, explode them and really make an impact on other people aren't our direct point of contact. A lot of the times they're the second and third point of contact. So it comes through from adding that great value to people, and then all of a sudden they know that second person who they refer through because they know, they like, and they do trust you because you've built that great rapport. It happens all the time.
So if somebody says, you know, oh yeah, I'll watch the video, but it's not for me, is that then something you say, oh, do you ask also why not? Because at this stage, I find it difficult to then still have the conversation, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, well, I guess when you send the video through, I just always ask them what they like about the video, you know, and that's something, I mean, and they, from that, they wouldn't say it's not for me. They would probably turn around and say, oh, look, you know, that was okay, but I just didn't think it was my sort of thing. And you just say, oh, you know, I could easily say to them, look, do you think that video resonated with you, or do you think that the timing may be just not right for you at this point in time? And give them an opportunity to be able to sort of get an easy out. But that also gives you an opportunity to say, cool, that's fine. Now, how about I circle back to you in 6 weeks' time or 2 months' time and just see how your life's travelling, see how you're going with your results at that point in time, and we'll always be here to be able to support you. And they'll go, yeah, awesome. And then at that time, they're still on your Facebook page, they're still seeing what you're doing, and you're turning around and going about your life. But we see it all the time. We had someone that contacted us, and Lisa would have had it as well. You know, I talked to them in the first 2 months we started Isogenics 3 or 4 times, and then they recontacted us last week and went, yep, time's right. It's just because you leave it with no now doesn't mean no forever. And that, you know, they say that picture is worth 1,000 words. They're seeing those pictures in front of them all the time and seeing those results. And it might just be something, they may have someone in their family that becomes ill. All of a sudden their health becomes at the forefront of their mind, or someone's going through financial stress. That opportunity to be able to bring extra income in comes to the forefront of their mind, and therefore they talk to you and think about you because you're the person that's built that good rapport with them.
Yeah, okay.
And I also, like, that's where being consistent is so, so important as well, especially on social media, because I see it even myself, like, you know, people get started and they get really excited and they want to do the 10-4-1 and they're posting, and then all of a sudden something will come back into their life that's, you know, or something will creep in, and all of a sudden their social media becomes this, oh, you know, I'm sick, and oh, this sucks, and this, and they're whinging about everything. And, you know, people are looking for these people that are just doing a phase. Like, they're almost waiting for people to go, oh yeah, that phase is over and now we can get used to the next one. Whereas if we're always staying consistent, we're going to have those people that we chatted to 3 years ago that are ready now because we've always remained consistent. They know that they're coming to us because we will support them, and we are still getting results for people even after 3 years of, you know, utilising the system. So I think that that's really, really important too, of how we're portraying ourselves on social media. And yeah, consistency is definitely key as well.
And I think it's really important too that the fact that, you know, people see your social media and you don't want it so positive and so out there that people think it's not real. Like Ash will do posts up there, and like we all go through our challenges, don't we? All go through our ups and downs. It's just that if we're going through challenges, then maybe you can utilise that as a medium to be able to honestly capture how you may handle your challenges that will resonate with some of the people in your network from that genuine place, rather than saying life sucks, I'm over it, like a lot of people do. It's just like you might find a quote or you might find something that resonates with the challenges that you're having, but how you're persevering through and what you're doing. And all of a sudden, sometimes those things, because they're really vulnerable and genuine, they'll connect more so. And someone might say, oh, I've been going through that similar sort of thing, but they always seem to have a great culture around them. Maybe I could do with a great culture too. It's really important to be able to do that, and authenticity really comes across well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so powerful. Like, seriously, that's probably like I know we've moved on to social media, but that's such a powerful message. You know, and the same, I've just got my notes from Celebration, you know, with Tracy O'Malley, and talking about the power of consistency. And it's actually not about the likes or the comments that you're getting on your stuff. It's about the people that are watching. That's huge if everybody can take that in. Like that's probably a huge thing. And then, you know, you talk about the, you know, authenticity, whereas Tracy O'Malley said this is probably one of my most memorable moments, was that she spoke about vulnerability, and that, you know, vulnerability is the courageous path in which our souls find the deepest connection to one another. And Ash, I'm sure that you found that, like when you had your most open and vulnerable shares, you know, about being a new mother, you know, like, and they were so beautiful. And I'm sure that you would have seen an influx of people come into your business when you had such a beautiful, vulnerable, authentic share. So.
Yeah, because people relate with that too. They see you know, you're just human, and everybody goes through those moments, but a lot of people don't like to admit them, because a lot of people like to pretend that their lives are perfect on Facebook, because that's what, you know, people are tuning into. But there is a lot of strength in vulnerability, and a lot of people will connect on that level. So it's really, really important.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Awesome. Has anybody got anything else to share? We've got like 5 minutes left, and we're really, really honouring time, because these two, I don't know if your babies are in bed or if they're, you're lucky. They're still so little, they're in bed early. How nice. But if anybody else has got anything to say, or otherwise you can just come on and honour these two for giving us their time and you know, what you took away from it, and just give them your love and thanks. So, yeah. Come on in.
Hi.
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 I'd love to say thank you so much for sharing your story, and you know, I've gotten quite a lot out of it, and I really like the part about how to win friends and influence people. I think sometimes I start talking and I forget to listen. So that's really important. So yeah, thank you so much for that. I got a lot out of it.
No, you're welcome. Thanks for jumping on and making us feel so welcome. We really appreciate it.
No worries.
Cool. All right. Well, if you guys don't have anything else that you want us to cover, thank you so much for having us on the call. It's always a pleasure to be able to come in to meet some more people, and hopefully are many of you guys going to SKO?
Yes.
Yes. Who's going?
Yay.
So, awesome. So please come up and introduce yourselves. And, you know, we've seen your faces on here now, and it's always on the other side of the computer, but, you know, it's obviously they're busy events, but please come up, say hello, that sort of thing. And I mean, events are just a great place to be able to put a face to the name and be able to create a better network. And, you know, if you guys are needing, you know, the connection call every now and then, that sort of stuff, like, we're always happy to help. If you think we can be of service and we can add some value to some people and really connect for you, then, you know, just reach out to us. We're happy to be able to help.
Yeah, you're doing a presentation, yeah, at SKO?
Yeah. They'll let anyone talk, Lisa.
Nice. So we can all point at the guy on stage and say, oh, he did our call. That was awesome. So, yeah, all good. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, BJ, I can see your son. I can see someone in the background playing with your ears down there. So, sorry. I love watching all the people on the screen. I saw a half-naked child behind you, Mel. So that's really, isn't that beautiful that we can be sitting here loving on our family, building amazing businesses and sharing great stuff with people from all over. So, yeah, Tom and Ash, again, thank you so much for jumping on and spending your time with us tonight and really helping us understand the beautiful the beautiful power of the 30-second story, or our millionaire story, really. It was just fantastic. So thank you so much.
Thanks for having us, Lisa, and we're so excited to see everyone at summer kickoff.
Yeah, awesome.
Cool.
All right. And good night, team. See you all, and we'll see you next week. All right, see ya.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.